Well, we're back at, or I'm back at Family Lodge, Greenbrier Lake. Nice, beautiful day. It's Wednesday, the 8th of November. It's already 72 degrees. It's about 10:30 in the morning. It's 72 degrees already. And blue sky, slight breeze, beautiful day. The bathrooms are all closed up from the last time, so we start the outhouse season. I got only one project I have in mind. I may do more, but depends on what I can get done. Need to open up everything first. Let there be light, and there was light. It's pretty cool in here. Morning, Mom and Dad. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the pavilion. I don't know whether you can see out there or not. It's pretty bright. I'll show you in a minute. There's a huge trunk out there in the water. And I'm going to go ahead and unlock everything and open easily. That needs to be adjusted. Here's all the wood that we've painted and stained. That door's sticking. Lake still appears to be really low. What we'll do today is all these screens I remade, the wooden screens, starting with the one in the corner and then coming around. I want to replace the bottom of the screen because they're all just pine trim lumber, and that's everything else is treated or cedar. So that's what it will rot if something rots down. So I'm wanting to replace it all with this PVC trim that I painted up. So that's what I have planned for the day. 76 in November. It's kind of hard not to come down and do something if I got the free time. Show you the patch. It's starting to get quite a bit of grass on it now. Thank goodness. Probably be down another couple of weeks when all the leaves are down and go ahead and mow the leaves of grass. Doesn't look like there's any rain on the temporary shed. You can see how low the water is. We've had no significant rain for the last few weeks. If we hadn't had that 3 days of hard freeze, I could have kept the water on, but I'm glad to get it off while we can. Boy, it's got to be down 2 feet below, I'd say 2.5 feet below the level of the front yard right now. That's amazing. I don't know that I've ever seen it this low. Be interesting to see if the overflow works when the water comes back. This is really low. Well, I'm going to turn you off. I'm going to unload the car, and then we'll get to doing things. What I'm wanting to do, I'm going to remove the screen and replace the pine board on the bottom, trim board, with PVC. But also I'm going to take a look at the ledge board that I put on there, the new ledge. That I think is cedar, but I want to see if I can get it up easy enough. If I can get it up, then I'll take it up and I'll put that joist tape on top to protect it even more. What I'm afraid of is when we had the old one off, we stained both this board and the top of the log, and then we put lacquer on both of them. And I'm afraid they may be stuck together, and I don't want to pull them apart and rip wood out. If they don't come out easily, then I'm just going to leave them. I forget which one was first. These were the ones that were blowing out. I believe I replaced these two first, and then this was the third. But I'm not exactly sure of what the order was. Blade itself is pretty good. Try to take the cleat off. I'm going to try to take the cleat off, and then we'll see. I think I may be able to get this one off. I filled in the screw holes. Filled in the screw holes with caulking, and I don't think they're going to come off, so I'm not going to worry about it. This is the pine trim lumber. This is the side. The bottom doesn't look too bad, but you can tell it's starting to get affected by water sitting on between it and the cleat. So this is what I'm going to take off and replace with one of these, and we'll see how that works. Use a Phillips screw. One of the problems was this pine trim lumber is not as wide as what the cedar board is. The PVC board is, so that's even better. Or too many screws in one of these early ones. See is here's where the screen is wrapped around and then stapled in place, and this just helps hold it. It's hard to tell, but the inside of this is really rough from weathering. I mean, it's been there at least 3 years, so it's not too bad, but I don't want to have to worry about when it goes bad. The one that was on the rotted log, the log that was rotting, the ledge that was really rotted, it was really starting to deteriorate. So that's the one I replaced first. Now I'll replace this one. I'm just going to use the old board as a template for both the length and for where the screw holes go. Perfect. Now just measure or I'll mark the screw holes. Actually, I'm not, since that one is not exactly the same width. I don't want to put the screws in here and then have them, I want the screws to go in and not be completely centered so that it moves the board one way or the other. So I'll just, I'll redo them. Actually, I only need like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many I did before. It's like 7. Cut out 2 of them. So now I just put in 5 screws instead of 7. That's all it's needed. It fills the gap. And now you'll have a cedar board sitting as a ledge, this sitting on top of the cedar, the PVC, and then cedar sitting on it. And this cedar was the same age as the pine trim. You don't see any wear whatsoever in this cedar, where the pine is starting to show some wear. So now I'll put it back, since I can't do anything about the ledger board. Now we'll see how well it fits. Good fit. Screw back in place, and we'll be done with one of the 5 I want to do. Just want to make sure I've got the screen pushed up against the cleats. Reduce the amount of gap that's in there. collect moisture and dirt. Okay, that's the first of 5 I would like to get done. You can see it fits just as well as it did before. You can now see the bottom board sticking out a little bit. The color's a little off because it's a brown instead of cedar, but people will never notice it. And if I grab it here, that's nice and strong. That's not going to blow out. We had a wind like today would have blown a couple of these out when they were metal. We've had no problem since I've redone it with this, other than the look of the wood on the bottom starting to deteriorate. So I'll set it up on time lapse and do the other 5. Drill the countersink holes. Now I just need to drill the countersink holes and screw it on. This is the 3rd window. If you consider that first one in the corner 1, and then 2, then 3rd, you can see that some of this is already This broke off the bottom. This was one of the windows that the sill was rotting, so it's not surprising that we've had some problems with it. You can see the debris and moisture that blows in here, and with this is treated lumber. This is treated lumber on the sill. This is cedar, so that's pretty waterproof. I just need to add that PVC, and that waterproofs the green windows. Also make them easier to take out in the each year. Clean those out. It looks like it might be a good idea. The sides are unchanged, so I'll show you what the problem is. You've got just regular pine wood that has been, it was put in place before it was stained, so it's just been stained on the top and the side, so behind it is just bare wood against a bare wood beam. Then they put these pine cleats in here, and all they used were staples. That's fine here because any water is just going to drain out of here on the side, but when it was down, the water sits in there and slowly follows the staple down into the pine. You got untreated pine having water getting into it, and that caused under the cleat to rot out. It caused the bottom of the cleat to rot out. And if it was bad enough, like it was on this third window, then it got down into the log. Here, it was starting to get into the log, but it just was the very top. All I had to do was basically scrape that off, and it was fine. So, like I said, this helps the waterproofing, and should make it last longer. This is the third window. You can see it actually started to rot there. Part of it came off onto the ledge, plunger board. This is rotted away here. Just taking these off to replace the ledge, and I decided I needed to find something better to do with the bottom of this screen. A little overkill on the screws again. You just notice that fall apart, but that is completely rotted. Rotted and broke again. Bring this off. We'll put the next one on. If you look at the cedar board that it's sitting up against, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the cedar. Need a persuader for this one. Well, we're down to the last window, and I'm going to go ahead and repair the window, but repair the screen bottom. But you can see that this is one of the treated lumber, and it's losing its stain, so I'm going to stain this again before I repair the window, put it back in. That's stained, and now that it's, I'll let it dry, then I'll put some varnish on it, lacquer. Okay, I just stained this one. I'm going to let it dry. While I let it dry, I am going to change out the bottom of this last one. And then once that's dry over there, I'm going to put some lacquer. You can see that, well, it's rough in a couple places, but it's not too bad. But once the stain is dry, I'm going to lacquer it. And then once the lacquer is dry, I'll put the window back. But in the meantime, I'm going to repair the bottom or replace the bottom. If I recall, I used so many screws before because this pine is so thin that it wanted to split. So you use plenty of pilot holes and plenty of screws, but this log broke in two from the wind. That's how rotted it was. But it's still stuck on our float out there for the water. It's accumulating a bunch of junk. This is almost dry. I'll let it dry completely before I lacquer it. And once I lacquer it, I'll have to wait until that dries before I can put the window back in. The stain is dried, so now I'm going to lacquer it. That is that. Now we just wait for it to dry. I've got the window done. I just need to put it back in once it dries. Well, it is so warm and so dry today. I had to walk out to the county road so that I could send some information off to someone. And just walking back now, this is completely dry. Not sticky at all. So now I'm going to install the window, and then I think I'm going to get out of here. I am tired. This has been a hard week for us. And I was going to go ahead and do the ledge for these two back windows since they're the ones that face the west. But they're really not in that bad of a shape yet. So I don't see any rot on them yet. So I'm going to wait until another nice day. Shouldn't take that long to do them, other than the fact that I'll probably cut them off the sideboards here so that they're sitting on a treated board instead of sitting on the log. But even the sides seem like they're in pretty good shape, and Connie has been varnishing them and or staining them and putting varnish on them every fall. So that's what I was going to do, but no more. I'm going to put the door in now. So I'm going to put the window screen in now, not the door. It's only a little after 1, but I'm so tired from this week. I'm going to clean up and take off. I'll do a flyby, show what we did. Yeah, you can see it's starting to cloud up a little bit. I'm all cleaned up, except I remembered I wanted to do one more thing. I need to drain this hose well and then put it in one of the bathrooms. And what I do is I throw it up over the swing set frame and pull it across, get rid of all the water, and then it's ready for the winter. Put the nozzle in the south bathroom along with the hose, which is just on the floor. We got the antifreeze and some bugs. Door's locked, and I'm ready to do a flyby. Okay, I'm ready to get out of here. I did everything I needed except reset the clocks, and I'm not going to do that. By the time people start using this place again, we'll be back in daylight savings time, so why change the clocks? And let there be dark. And there's dark. I've got all the trash. I've got everything loaded up in the SUV. I'm ready for head home. That door's locked. And we'll do a flyby now. You can tell, clouded up quite a bit. Don't have the blue skies and sunshine. There's still quite a bit of blue skies, but a lot of sunshine is gone. I'm going to turn you around here. Notice that we've got grass coming in on the field by the boiling water. Brought the boat up, put it on the log pile. It's a little breezy today, and it really makes that temporary shed breathe. But the piece of wood I got in the top that I put up with a bungee cord, it's holding, so there's no water sitting. Got a log stuck on our float for our water inlet. The water is still way down. You can see, I mean, during the spring, these limestones had water halfway up, and that's what they considered normal at the time. It should really just come up and be lapping the bottom of that limestone. That is what I would call normal. And so you can see even below normal it's probably 1.5 feet. Nothing's been cut up yet. I'm tempted to get the sledgehammer and the wedges and try to split some wood, but you know, I really don't need to. There's the old pine that came from the bottom of the windows. All the new wooden screens have all had their bottoms changed out to the PVC trim. So I'm a lot less worried about water damage now than I was first of the year. I drained the hose over the swing frame, and it's in the south bathroom, which is locked up. This is a nice white oak. I would have liked to have replanted, but it got too big by the time I noticed it. Trouble is, it's right next to a big poplar tree that's also here in my sister's garden, in my niece's garden. As a pretty white oak. It's a shame. I don't know what's going to happen to them, but they're too close together. I turned the light off in the outhouse, latched the door, let some sunshine come in. It's only 2 o'clock, which is actually 3 o'clock last week. But we've been running for a week now, back and forth to southern Indiana, and we've had other news that just wear me out. So I'm headed home, and I'm going to rest up before we drive to southern Indiana tomorrow. So until I get back, which hopefully will be next week, take care of yourself, and everyone stay safe.